Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, having a spectacular Monday. Hello to Joanne, who's waving, Frank, who has his camera on, and everybody else who will turn their cameras on just because it's Monday. We're going to make you feel bad if you don't. It's all right, we'll wait. I should have the little Jeopardy theme song. Da, 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 da. All right, we guilted Carla at least into it. All righty. So let's jump right in. We have about 59 or 58 and a half minutes or so to spend some quality time with both Christine Olenek and Debbie Orr today, who are going to just kind of walk us through in an informal, kind of casual manner. We're gonna keep this as, especially with a smaller group, kind of as light as possible, and make sure that you guys get to ask all the questions you want to ask. But we wanted to start with a specific topic, and that is kind of what kind of tech tools and what kind of social media campaigns, how are you blending those two as it relates to really staying top of mind, staying in front of your database and the people that are important to your business, right? And so I think that both Debbie and Christine do have systems in place to make sure that the people who are important to their business are hearing from them pretty consistently. And we'd love to just know some things about what those tools are, how you're using them, what that consistency looks like, and what the results are from having those things in place. So let me set us up. That's kind of the setup for what we'll talk about, and then certainly as we move through that, again, feel free to ask any questions that come up, and if we have time at the end, we have Debbie and Christine to kind of answer some additional questions from a technology and social media perspective. So I'm excited about that. Let me just do this and get them center stage for us. All righty, there they are. Look how spectacular. My goodness. Hello, ladies.
Good afternoon.
There we go. Hello.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So you heard the setup. I think it's what you were expecting to kind of start with, yes. And anybody have some thoughts around what it is you're doing, what you're using, and how that's working for you from the perspective of staying in front of your top of mind to the people who are important to your business? Who wants to take that first? You want to do rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I thought Debbie was saying I'll do it.
Oh no, I was saying you, but you know what? I will start. I
Okay.
will start because I'm just going to start with some generalities. And one of the things is at following the MREA to the best of our ability, what we know is we want to touch the people who are nearest and dearest to us 3 times a month in round figures. And nothing has made that simpler than, imagine, command. And it has, it's simpler and it's still work. And you have to have a plan, you have to be purposeful about it. And yet it's wonderful. It works for you. One of the things that I like, two of the things that I like, one on each hand. One is the efficiencies of it, and the other is the one placeness of it. It used to be, and Christine probably had this experience as well. You were in Top Producer and YouTube and a bazillion other things. Programs to make flyers and to make and social posts. There was nothing to help us make gorgeous social posts, was there?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I like the efficiency and the one-stop shop very, very, very much.
Completely agree.
Mm-hmm. And the next piece is being purposeful about touching people 3 times a month. And I will put a big star over here on the right and say, not all contacts are created equal.
Mm.
You don't touch everybody in your database the same way. So that's another thing that Command helps us distinguish.
So you,
Absolutely.
go ahead, Christine, sorry.
I completely agree with everything that Debbie's saying. She uses it at a much higher level than I do, but completely agree with everything. The simplicity and the ease and having everything right there is really, really amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so dive a little deeper into that. What exactly are you using? Since we stumbled into Command first, let's just stay there for a bit. What are you using inside of that system, inside of that CRM, to make sure that your folks are seeing or hearing from you 3 times a month? Is it automated? Is it hard? Like how are you doing that?
So, and I don't want to do all the talking, so, and I'll share what I've been doing. I am calendarizing 3 touches. So typically it is an event, it is a newsletter, and it's something about the market. Those are kind of my 3 topics. And what is fast, and I'm doing this in a couple of different media, and this is not, I would say it's not a straitjacket approach. It's a little random how I do this part, the media that I use, but some of it is actually snail mail. I'm actually doing snail mail more aggressively this year than emails and texts. And then social media is off here on the side. One of the things, and this is just a shortcut answer, one of the things that I have discovered is smart plans. I think people make plans more complicated than they need to. You can make them complicated, but you don't have to make them complicated. And I will give you an example of something that I did last week. It was to invite the nearest and dearest, and it was a specific group of people, the local people who are what we would refer to as raving fans. And we sent out a fancy HTML email through Command. That was step 1, delayed a couple of days, and then the day of the event sent out a plain text message to the same group to remind them about the event. And I found something very interesting about those 2 different media. Would anybody like to guess what I discovered?
Probably more response with the texts.
More response to the text by multiples. I think I had 1 response to the email, not that but I know people saw it, but I had 20 responses to the text. So what does that tell you? And I think one of the things is you can't use the same media all the media all the time. You have to mix it up. And I think that's part of the power.
Got it. And so, Christine, you're doing some similar, I think, program type things, but with a twist more towards the social media side than the mass email side. Am I right in that?
Absolutely. I do 1 mass email a month. It's a newsletter. It's a market snap. It's, favorite home decor of the month with a couple listings. It's not just sales. It's kind of, something for everyone. But I'm very focused on starting conversations. Texts, I totally agree. Texts are read much, much higher than emails. But I'm really focused on social media, in the fact that not just posting real estate related, but starting conversations. If I do post something either about my family or real estate related, I make sure all my comments, I go back to every single comment and comment back. How are you? How's the family? Then not even that, I'll look on their page before I even comment, like, oh my God, I saw that little Billy graduated. Congratulations. How's your wife, husband, whatever? And do direct messaging that way and start conversations. And inevitably, I mean, you could be at a cocktail party, you could be at a grocery store or on social media. Everybody asks, how's the market? And it just starts that conversation. So I'm really focused on that. On Facebook and Instagram, and then LinkedIn, you could get very personal on LinkedIn and you can talk business. That's what it's for. I've looked up Weston people on LinkedIn, introduce myself. I'm a Weston neighbor. If you ever, are thinking about selling your home, please reach out to me. I've gotten several clients that way. But it's just being seen and being heard time and time again, and starting those relationships that has gotten me a lot of listings. A lot of people have said the last 2 listings I've had, I was up against 3 others and they're like, you're on social media. I see what you do to promote yourself, your brand, and different properties. So it's worked nicely for me, but it's not just posting and ghosting. Is posting and starting those conversations. And even days that I don't post, I look at people who, are local. I repost events. I repost local businesses. They all love it. And so even if I'm not posting, I'm very interactive on it.
I heard someone say once that the key to the success on the social media side is to make sure that you are more engaged, worry more about being engaged than
Yes.
engaging.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
it's not about the show. You're not putting on a
No.
show. It's about engaging with people and having that back and forth.
Right. Even if I post a little something about little Leo in my stories and I get 100 people who like it, I reach out to those 100 people. How are you? Thanks so much for liking my little picture about Leo. I'm doing it in private messages. It's just such an easy way to start a conversation.
Let me ask a question. In a given week, how much time do you think doing what you do the way you do it on those platforms, how much time does that take you?
So it's my lead generation. So I'm very focused on it, and I try to do 2 hours a day. If not more. I try to be really intentional about it. I do some in the morning, then I wait a couple hours, then I respond to comments. And again, on days that I don't post, then I'm scrolling and I'm looking for things that other people are posting, so that I can congratulate them or start a conversation in some way.
So is it fair to say, if I set an average of anywhere from 8 to 12 hours in any given week?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I asked that question just so everyone else can kind of hear. Christine's not talking about, I woke up and got on Facebook and wrote a couple of posts and went on with my week. I mean, she's talking about an on-purpose strategy and system that takes up to 2 hours a day to make sure it's running properly and then getting the results.
Absolutely. And it is time consuming, but it's my lead generation. And again, it's very focused. I try not to go down any rabbit holes. It's focused there. I try to even have a list of people that I want to target, an area I want to target. So yeah, it's focused, and it's my lead generation, and I spend a lot of time doing it.
So Joanne asks in the chat, do you have both a personal and business page on Facebook, and how do you?
Absolutely. So the personal page is where people do get personal. But again, I posted about the twins' birthday this weekend. I got 40 likes or whatever it was. Reached out to every single one of them. Thank you so much. The boys are doing well. How are your boys doing? You know, what are you doing this year? And, you know, again, trying to, I'm not very, I don't come right out and ask about real estate until it's brought up. But again, it's having that conversation. Everybody knows I'm in real estate. It's having that conversation and showing them that, you know, I'm interested in their lives. I'm not just posting just to post and be done with it. So it's, you know, strategic.
Got it. I have heard, and maybe you could thumbs up or thumbs down this, but I have heard that you just said people get personal on the personal page. What I've kind of heard recently is you need to have a business page, because more for the idea that people are going to check you out before they hire you, right? So they need to see a professional business page. But the personal page is kind of where you're doing the connecting for the most part. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And I'm sorry, I forgot to answer that part of that question. The business page is basically like your virtual business card. Let's say people will go there to see, and that's where I post. It's all real estate, you know, videos, listings, anything real estate I post on there, and I post on there once a day. But my personal is my personal, and I definitely get a lot more of the personal stuff and the personal people starting those conversations. But you definitely need both. So to do my Facebook ads through command, I need my Facebook business page. You can't do it through your personal page.
So when you respond, if you post something on your personal page and somebody says something to you about it, do you then go into private message and respond, or do you respond on the listing page itself, you know, on your post?
So I start out on the listing page because you want that algorithm to show that you're engaging. Then I move over to the private message.
If they respond again, or
Exactly. Because you don't want to have a long conversation about how Billy's doing in second grade. You want to take that and move it off. But I do say thank you so much, and then I do a private message. How's Billy doing?
Got it.
Nice.
Do you know anybody? You know this market's super hot. I mean, again, real estate comes up all the time. They're like, oh my God, my neighbor just sold their house. Do you know anybody I can help sell their house? I've got buyers looking. You know, again, that conversation comes up.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The thing that strikes me about everything you've just said is the overkill over time, that it has to, and you're so purposeful about that.
Yes.
And Gary talks about this and says that lead generation has to always be more ambitious, A, in parentheses, than we think, and B, than your income goals. It's going to take more numbers than most of us start out thinking it will in our heads. You can't just do it now and then.
No, absolutely not. It has to be consistent and, again, purposeful and all about them. You know, how are you? How's the family? How can I be of help?
Right.
Do either one of you have, let me ask that differently. Do you guys kind of look ahead for 30 days or 90 days and say, here's the plan of what I'm going to be doing and how I'm doing it, whether it's snail mail or texting or email campaigns or events or social media campaigns? Do you have some sort of a plan? And can you guys talk a little bit about what those plans look like and how you create and then manage them?
So yeah, mine, I look in 90-day blocks. I like to do, it's basically the 12-week year concept. And the reason I do that is the months creep up on you. And if you let yourself think you're doing it 30 days in advance, suddenly it's 60 days later and you missed a month. Yeah, right? I mean, that's just real. So my intention, sometimes better than others, is, and I usually start with the events, because there are natural events that happen in any given quarter. And then there typically are a couple of events that you put into the calendar on purpose. And I know Christine has done this as well. The seminars. Seminars, I've not done them for the last couple of months, and they're going to start again in September. So we start with the events. And then I think in terms of 2 mail touches, snail mail touches in a 3-month period. And then everything else is backfilled. So it will be the smart plan for each event and some market stats, and probably we've been having the magazine once a quarter. So that's one of the touches. So then I backfill. And in my ideal world, and I'm actually 1 month behind right now because of what I just said, I'm filling the next 3 months on my wall calendar so that I know what I'm doing and when I'm going to be doing it.
Got it. Christine?
I'm basically the same for social media, and my plan for the month. I do it monthly. And I have posts that I know that I'm going to do in certain weeks. And if I'm doing a seller seminar that week, all my posts is like, little videos about selling tips and things like that. So it differs every month, but it's intentional every month.
And you plan it forward.
Mhm.
Right, you just plan it forward so that then you have a note that says this is what's going out. You can even post them and have them post on a schedule, right?
Mhm.
No, pre-post, I mean. And
What-
have them go out on the schedule.
What I find so encouraging about what the two of you do is that you are both full-time real estate professionals. You are both still out in the field, working with sellers, working with some buyers, right? Doing the do that everybody else on this call does. And correct me if I'm wrong, but each of you, because this is all tied into how you generate leads and then follow up those leads to create business, you're both doing the things that you are saying you're doing personally. This isn't like you haven't hired someone on the outside to handle all this for you, right?
No.
I do
You
have
can't.
one.
Yeah.
I do have one somebody who posts my listings for me. Yeah, I do that, but she doesn't do much more than that. She'll do the open houses and the listings, and then I do the other content for the most part.
I actually do as well. I have somebody who does my post for me first thing in the morning, but she only does LinkedIn business posts, real estate business posts, and my Facebook business page. All the other personal stuff I do. It's got to be personal, or you can't have somebody else do it.
Yeah, unless that person literally becomes you and you never post, because it'll sound like a different person.
Right.
Exactly. And then I follow up. If people react to her posts, then I personally follow up with them.
Got it.
And then she also does the outline for my magazine that I do send out quarterly. She revises that for me until it's ready to go. So she does some of that behind the scenes. But for Facebook business and if Facebook personal and Instagram, it's got to be personal. It's got to be you doing the promoting and the posting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it occurs to me that each of you, because a lot of your blasts out via email or social media or text are around events, and it's the two of you who are doing the events, right? So you're hands-on almost because you have to be, right? Because it's a more effective way to lead generate. Mega agents operating at really high levels almost across the board don't let go of one thing. And that one thing they don't let go of, even if they let go of everything else, is generating and following up to convert the lead, right? So it sounds like that's what you guys are the approach you're taking. You're keeping that in place, yes?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, one of the most rewarding pieces of this is the database reaching back to us and anticipating things that have become traditions in the year. Because we have things that happen every year at more or less at the same time. And I just made a list of a couple of, well, the events, any of the events, the holiday strolls, the shredding event. We have built a little bit of an anticipation around the call into wins. And people in the database call me to ask what the actual date is going to be for those things, which I think that's a huge evidence of being effective in the outreach that's going on. And it's, again, it's over time, people start to anticipate those things. I just did one of my snail mails to the database and others and my nurtures. So I have my actual inner core separated from the nurtures who have not done business yet with us. And yet they get a class B outreach for most of the things that are going on. But what I sent out a golden letter, a version of the golden letter with the vaccination caddy to hold the vax cards. And I'll tell you this. Are you going to hold that up? Yes, there you are. This is a rip off and duplicate.
An R&D.
From Danielle Ronan. And I have never gotten so many unsolicited phone calls from people, different people in the database. That's the thing about the different events appeal to different people in the database. And so you want to mix it up a little bit. And I mean, people calling and saying, oh, I love this. This is such a cool idea. And can I have more? It's been really rewarding. So what's the point about that? What item of value might you be able to hear about and duplicate or come up with to send out? They didn't cost that much and they're making an impression. And in very fact, I've been on a listing appointment where the letter and the caddy were sitting on the table. So, okay.
That's awesome.
May I ask a question of each of you? Because what I find oftentimes when I'm having conversations with some of your colleagues, there's the biggest question they have is, and to kind of steer this back to a technology answer, how are the two of you organizing, handling your database such that these outreach pieces, the outreach for the events, the monthly newsletters. I actually, when Christine was talking, I did find one of your newsletters, Christine, so we can show everybody what they look like too, because I think they look really nice.
They look
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll show you that in a second. But how do you simplify for us what it looks like on the back end? Because a lot of people say that all sounds great to mail out a thing to 100 people or to send out a blast email to my people or to put people on an automated whatever. But their struggle is that they don't seem to have the foundational pieces in place to be able to just push simple buttons and get that stuff done. Can you guys take us back to really foundational conversation around how you have what you have that allows you to just simply do that kind of automated or one-off type stuff to your database?
It's putting the people in your contacts. You have to have your contacts lined up and you have to have them segmented according to who they are.
Yeah.
And the pieces of information you need are their names, their cell numbers, Cell numbers have become uber important. And their email and their snail mail. And then you have to decide who they are and what group you're going to communicate with them in. So for example, I have all past clients. I have, like, we call them forever clients. That's everybody. And I've segmented a group of those to my raving fans, people who have done multiple transactions or referred business to me, or who stay in touch on purpose. And I've got about 25% of the total forever client database is in that group. And then I've got nurture sellers, nurture buyers. And those are people who I'm in the tagged version. I'm not very discriminating about those, who they are. They could be people who just could sell a house. In my pipeline, I'm discriminating about who they are because they have to be ready to do business within the next 12 months to go into the pipeline. But just to talk to them, just to send things out to them, it's just somebody who could sell a house or who has had a conversation about selling a house at some point. So I have those segments, and those are basically the ones who get the outreach. The others are leads that have come in through an ISA or through the campaigns. And one of the things I thought I would show you is the when you said simplicity, this is simplicity in Command. Oh, and I'm in love with it because you can pick as many or as few as you want to make labels for, to send out snail mail pieces. And it's like 1, 2, done. And it's beautiful and it fits perfectly and you don't have to fuss with it.
So I'm hearing kind of like real estate 101. You just got to build a database.
Yep.
Right.
It's huge. It's huge.
For my monthly, for my monthly newsletter, I have 2 versions because I have one that is just West End and Westport, and it talks about that market, and then it talks about other things, and then I have one that goes out to everybody else. So yeah, here's exactly one. So I have a template already done. This is either in Constant Contact or MailChimp, but it's every single contact that I have. And literally I just copy and paste what I need for that particular month. And I send that newsletter because it's pretty generic out to everybody.
All right.
And then, you know, if I,
but it's beautiful and it has cool
you.
stuff in it. It really does.
Thank you. So for those, again, I do try to make it generic. So there's something for everybody. Yeah, so this is local happenings. And then it may talk about the market, or below it'll say, you know, if you're interested in what's happening in your neck of the woods. I do throw in some listings as well. But I make it so that it's not just 100% real estate for those people who aren't buying or selling. This obviously does talk about the Weston market because it was super hot. And then this little joke thing, I got so many people responding to this joke more than anything else. So again, a little humor goes a long way. Even if they were buying or selling, everybody cracked up at that.
I always call this your Martha Stewart photo, Christine.
Yes.
Oh my God, that is hysterical. I've never heard that, but that is very funny.
Back in the day, we were avid watchers of that Sunday morning program she did. And every time I see this, you remind me of her, like way back when, not now, but way back when.
That is hysterical.
And I mean that as a compliment.
Well, thank you. So all these little segments in this, I think this one I did through MailChimp. I mean, easy, just copy and paste. My assistant does help me with that. She gets all the what's going on for the local weekend happenings. So I do get help, but it's because all my contacts, no matter, I put them in Command, but I also put them in a MailChimp, and they are all there. So literally once a month, I hit that button, and it's as easy as that. And then again, if I'm having a buyer seminar, then all my tagged buyers get one email. If I'm having a seller seminar, they get another. I just did a client appreciation party, which was great. All my current and active clients got that invitation. So you have to segment them so that you can reach them at different times.
And what I want to underscore is you don't eliminate anybody in the long run. Nobody is eliminated. Everybody gets touched because you just don't know who the next person
Absolutely.
in your business is. You just
Right.
don't know. Even
Right.
the least likely people sometimes are the ones who are going to be next.
Yep.
So don't
Or
leave
they
them
know
out.
somebody.
Yep.
So what I'm hearing, and I think the importance of reiterating this can't be let go, is that you have to start with having, and I was thrilled to hear the different places, right? Because not everybody is going to utilize Command. Use Command, both Debbie and Christine do,
Mhm.
and then they both also use other things, right? And so there's a MailChimp. I know there are some people in in our organization who use other systems like, you know, Follow Up Boss or things to push things out to people in a systematic way. You just have to find the something that works for you. Command is kind of nice because there's no additional cost to you on it, right? But if you don't have a spot where you have all of your people with the information that Debbie mentioned before, you're at a massive disadvantage, because now the second you start to think, I would love to have an event like what Christina or Debbie just said they did. I don't even know who to invite. How do I invite them? Where do I go? It's not simple. I have to gather all this information or make all these phone calls or go through my phone, right? So yeah, if you haven't done that yet, again, that is real estate 101. You need to build that database so that you can start doing the cooler things more easily. And those cooler things, by the way, have more back-end benefit when you do them consistently.
Absolutely.
And I just did something that's outside of Command, except it used Command to get to it. And that was a Prism mailing, because I'm being more purposeful about letting all of my important people know about sales that have been made. I'm not doing listed cards. I am doing just solds, and I'm doing them with the title Buyer Found, which was a default on the Prism card. I thought it was good. And what I discovered is you can import your Command database, whatever segment of it you choose. So I chose my nearest and dearest because I want them to get the things over and over again. And I added them to the geographic around the listing mailing. So I ended up sending out like 400 of these cards. And I'm going to do in another about week, I'm going to do another one to the neighborhood for that house and the nearest and dearest again. So they're always getting those cards, and then it's moving to the geography of the house that was sold.
Beautiful.
And you can do it. You download your data, your tagged database, and upload it into Prism, and it's very easy, very easy.
Let me make sure that I have the questions in the chat all answered. There was a question earlier. Christine, do you also post your listings on your personal page or only on your business page?
So I do from time to time, but very limited. You'll find that you're not going to get a lot of engagement with that. But so yesterday I was at a little home in Norwalk, and I did a live video, and that will get engagement. But you know, it's amazing. Your personal posts are going to get more engagement, and that's when you start those conversations. But yes, I do post, but very little. And in my stories, I'm definitely doing open houses. I'm doing little videos, and I'm doing listings and stories as well. Much more so than just on my personal page listings. So I may do one post about a new listing. And then again, I'll do a video.
Got it. So again, even when you are talking business on the personal side, it's from an engaging, interesting, not kind of flat. I recently heard
Right.
somebody say, I can't remember where I heard this, but I recently heard somebody say those little posts, just the static posts that give out numbers or whatnot, are actually not just less engaging, but the algorithm is going to start
Right.
ignoring them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
If there's
Animation.
like if there's any wording on it, it won't, it doesn't like that at all. And you could be flagged. I mean, if you post business on your personal page, you could be flagged. So that's why I try to keep it. They love videos, so that certainly helps. So if it's like, here I am tonight, let's have a sneak peek of 37 Francis Ave, I'm okay in doing so.
Right.
And the benefit is you get more engagement and more, and so you kind of win on both sides.
Exactly.
Joanne asks, what magazine? Yeah, Debbie, you mentioned it early in our conversation, and I think Christine, you said it again. What magazine are you speaking of?
So
It's their great quarterly magazine that's in designs. We're up to the third one. The August one just came out. It's really great. There's 2 or 3 articles about, how to save energy and ways to cool off in the summer. And then you can personalize a page with the Fairfield County numbers or just the Weston numbers, whatever you wanted. I did Fairfield County because my data, it goes out to, I've got people from Greenwich all the way up to Fairfield. So I need it to be a bigger thing. You can personalize it. And then on my last page, I put the app, like it looks kind of like an ad for the app. Searching for a new home, there's an app for that.
The one page with the listings on it, I haven't had enough active listings at any one time, so I keep putting pendings and solds, and you can customize everything just to make it work for you.
Exactly. I just did feature home of the quarter, something like that. So it's one home. Again, I'm not trying to hit them over the head with real estate. They know I'm in real estate, and there's a personalized letter. It's really great.
And the thing is, the articles in it actually are decent articles. So
they actually
don't mess
are.
with them. Don't just leave them alone. They're fine.
Absolutely.
Done for you.
They're great. Yeah. In this it was Q&A, buyer Q&A, but they were interesting questions, even if you're not buying or selling. So I highly recommend people looking into that. And you can send that out to your entire database. You also can copy the URL and you can put it on LinkedIn. You can put it on social media. It's really worth your while in doing so. It's tricky to kind of work within the design.
You need to give yourself at least an hour, is what I said. You have to plan on spending an hour to set it up, and then it's ready to go, and it's awesome.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if for everybody in the room that didn't know that existed, would it be helpful if we kind of created a class to show you, here's how you do it. Here's where you go to find it. Here's how you kind of customize it. We can ask Joe to kind of build a class for you just to help. Would that be helpful for those of you on camera? Thumbs up or in the chat. Yes. Okay. All right. We will get that on and get that ready for you as quickly as late this week or early next, because it sounds like an awesome tool.
It is. It's great.
And I'm sorry, maybe I missed it, but how do you get that to your people? It's just a link that you then utilize in a
1,000 different ways. But
Yeah.
you can do it. The simple way is a link, and it looks like a PDF, and you just scroll through it that way. You can also put it in that click plan, whatever. I never can remember what you use that, right? Do you?
So
ever
I
do
do it,
that?
I do it on, I have my assistant do it, so I have help doing it.
Right.
She puts it in a flip book.
Yeah.
So
flip.
it looks like an
Flip.
online
Yeah.
magazine.
That's
And then you
another
get a
step.
URL. I can put it on Twitter, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
Right.
So happy to help.
Just makes it look fancier, but it's another
Exactly.
step. And it's
And
free.
I've seen that. I've seen that. I think Debbie, you showed me one that you put into a flip book one
Yep.
time. Guys, it looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Joanne asks, is that an hour for each time you do the magazine, or an hour once? And then, so if it's a quarterly magazine, so it's going to be an hour each time you do.
Rick, if you want, I can send you my newest flip book. The link, if you want to send it to everybody, just so they can see what it looks like.
Yeah. Do you have, can you pop it on the screen?
I don't know that I can do that.
Okay. No worries. Yeah. Send it to me and
Yeah,
I'll be happy
I'll
to.
send it to you.
And so question, Nancy's asking what what? Oh, that's hard to say. What flip book app do you use?
Flip Snack. Yeah, it's weird. It's Flip
Yeah.
Snack, oneword.com. And I think for 3 flip books, you get 3 free. Hi, hon.
Can you spell it? FLIP.
SNACK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. Like you're eating a flip for a snack.
exactly.
So flip snack. Love it. Excellent, excellent. So guys, we are, believe it or not, we are at 1:47. And so I want to make sure that anybody who has questions that they want to ask of you guys has an opportunity to do that before we run out of time. Anybody have questions on anything that we talked about or anything we didn't talk about? Just unmute and I give you a shout. We'll pop it into the chat. Oh, it looks like you guys were very efficient and effective. My goodness.
Eric,
Go ahead, Frank.
if you don't mind. Debbie, especially you mentioned the snail mail, so I'll ask you, what are you doing for postage on that? Just buying stamps, or do you use electronic stamps, or what's the most efficient way?
So funny you should ask that. So the post office and I are not very friendly at the moment because they failed me. I had been using bulk mail, and one of my mailings that was time sensitive took 30 days to deliver locally. And I was furious because that doesn't work. So right now I'm sending things out first class, and I figure for the extra 20 cents a piece or whatever it is, it's worth it because I know when they're going to be delivered, sort of. I can better count on it, but I'm, how shall I say, less than impressed by the post office.
Gee, imagine that. I think you're the only one in the country who feels that way.
Try getting a passport this time of year. That's been fun.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Usually bulk rate works. Usually it'll get there within a week, and a week is acceptable for local mail. That's okay. But this was 30 days, and it was virtually the whole mailing landed 30 days late.
Yeah, so question on Twilio. I don't know if either of you are using Twilio through command and texting. How do you set that up so that the replies, if people are replying to that, they actually come to you? And if not, do you still use it even if the replies don't come to you?
100%. What you can set up is if you want the area code to be a local area code, it still doesn't come back to you, I don't think, although there may be a setting that you can make that happen. I don't worry about it. And here's why. In every text that I send out, I always says, hi, it's Debbie Orr, and text me back at, and I put my number in. Where you get the responses is in command, and they will come in. They'll come into your timeline for the contact, but you'll be notified by the notification bell. And you see that, you can see that on your phone, on Kelly, or you see it, that little bell up at the top of command. And you can read the texts that come in. You can actually read what they text back. It doesn't come to the text on your phone, but it does come to the notifications. So, and I just don't worry about it. It's something that I think it's a waste of, I don't even know if you can spend money and get it to come back. It's worth using Twilio because it saves you enormous time. And it doesn't cost much. It costs a little. It's $5 a month or something like that.
So you're saying when you mass text out through Twilio using command, the responses do go back into command. So you have to just
Yes.
know where to look for them
Yes, correct.
in the system. They just don't come to your phone.
Correct.
And you also are directive to people when you do the mass texting saying, please, for texting back, please use this number.
Yes, correct. All of the
Got it.
above.
Got it. Hopefully that's helpful, Angus, to solve that issue. Can we use command mailing for snail mail? Do either of you do that?
You can, it's, when I teach it, it's what I say is it's the last thing that I'm impressed with. I've not had success with it yet. And maybe it's better at this point, but I like Prism. I like Prism for the cards that I would do in command. And otherwise I'm doing envelopes.
Got it.
And yeah, I tried them once, and I sent one to myself. And again, Debbie, it took so long. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it was like a winter thing and I got it this summer.
Yeah.
And again, I spend my money if I'm gonna do anything, it's on Facebook or Instagram ads. I don't do snail mail. I will send everybody a Christmas card in my database, but I don't do the postcards.
Got it. What else? Anything else? While we have the brains of this operation all in the same room? All righty. Guys, I'll tell you the note that I took over and over and over again from listening to the two of you, because it's interesting, right? You both are similar, and yet different in how you do what it is you do, right? And which is why I thought this would be such a nice pairing today, because the results that you each receive are powerful and you can touch, they're tangible, they're turned into dollars, and yet you come at things from slightly different starting points. But the thing that was most consistent, was most clear to me, I just gave it away, most clear to me today was the level of consistency that you bring to what you do, right? So what I heard loud and clear was, yet these technology tools, the CRMs, the designs, command, social media platforms, the automated, MailChimp to get out your newsletters, the digital magazines, all of those tools don't really do anything unless you are behind it, making sure that the consistency happens and pushing it and working as hard as each of you work to make sure all those things actually happen. Did I mishear that, or am I dead on that?
No,
Absolutely right.
There's a lot that's automatic, but it doesn't get automatic until you push the button, until you decide what
Absolutely.
you're doing with it. Mhm.
Right.
That's why
I love that.
I like to always ask, what do you want your technology to do for you? What do you want to accomplish? Think that through first, schedule that, and then you can make it happen easily.
Mhm.
Yeah. So look for all of these tools that both Christine and Debbie are using at a high level. Learn how to use them, and then remember that once you learn how to use them, or hire someone to learn how to use them, right? Because you don't have to do this all yourself. I think that's one of the things that I've learned over time too, is there's great stuff out there. There are things that I will learn how to use, and there are things that I'll just have somebody else learn how to use, right? I'd rather pay somebody and free up some of my time for some of this stuff right? And it sounds like you guys made the same decisions along the line.
Absolutely. In knowing that also the follow-up and the personalization is super important as well. So I don't use any of those outside Hootsuites and everything to do my posts. I do use my administrator to do some of my business posts. But again, it's that, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So you have to show your personal side as well.
Here's how I'll leave everybody today, just so we're all clear, right? There's a reason why Christine and Debbie are in front of you today for this particular topic, because out of the 565 real estate agents that we have, I don't think I know someone who gets more closed, tangible, I can prove it to you business from social media than Christine. And I don't think I know someone who gets closed, tangible, I can prove it business by using command as Debbie, right? And so take what they said to heart, because they're not just playing around for the good of playing around with these tools. They're using them to make money, and they're using them to make good amounts of money, right? So let's be clear. If there's things that were unclear today or you want more info on, please just text me or shoot me an email to say, hey, can we get more info on X? We will already put a class on for the digital magazine. If you want something else, just ask. We're more than happy to customize our calendar to things that are specific to you, because if you want them, there are definitely other people who want them. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you sharing your talents, your
Thank you.
successes.
It was fun.
Keep at it, and we
I'm
will
gonna
see you
post
next
on
time.
social media.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone wave so
All
Christine has a
right.
post.
Thank you all.
Oh, everything.
Bye, guys. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.